My name's Patricia going to What's the Word here with Salih Williams. Welcome, welcome. Um, so,
Hey, what's up?
like I said, we're gonna do just like a few icebreaker questions. So, one of the questions is, what is a current song on your playlist that people will be surprised to see in your playlist?
Man, and I don't do this. Don't get it confused. But I like that. I'm in love with Coco. You don't know. I don't know the name of the artist, but it says the Coco song. I
The
don't know.
Coco
I don't know
song.
the name of the guy, but
I
yeah,
don't know
that's
the
my
name
song I've
either.
been listening to. Jeez, and that's crazy because of course I don't do coke,
Yeah,
but I just like the beat. I love the beat.
yeah,
It's a dope record, man. I just like the beat. I forget the name
yeah.
of the songs on my playlist,
That was
and
fun.
then I go. I got a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that's one I
I'm
like.
surprised. What is your favorite instrument and why?
My favorite. What again?
Your favorite instrument
You
and
said
why?
what again?
What's your favorite instrument and why?
My favorite instrument is it's definitely. I mean, I play a few instruments, but I started off as a youngster. At 7 years old, I started playing keyboards.
Mhm.
I like piano.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just it's just a lot of people write from the piano. I mean, I think it's for me. It's just I just like the way I like the way the writing, how you can develop songs from the piano.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of the it's for me. As a writer, I've always looked at it as what can I develop? How can I develop a record with this instrument? So piano is probably one of the easiest for me.
Okay.
That's why I like the
I
piano
like the
more.
piano.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are the youngest of seven, and you come from a musical family, and your siblings were a part of a family band that toured across America. Can you tell me about that experience?
As okay, so in 1981, I was 7 years old, and I come from a family of seven. I'm the youngest out of seven.
Mhm.
My three older brothers and three older sisters. We all my mother and father got us into music, and so we woke up one day, and my father brought home some equipment,
Mhm.
bought a bunch of keyboards and guitars and stuff like that. And he said, "Hey, look." We met in the living room. He woke us all up and he said, "What instruments you want to play? What instruments you want to play?"
Mhm.
And we was freaking out because I looked at it as like, "Wow, this is some toys,"
Yeah.
And but from there on, we joined. We created a band. My mother and father managed us, and we toured. Fast forward, we was able to get some shows doing a lot of the smaller club circuit. We called it Chitlin Circuit back in the day.
Mhm.
So we did a lot of performance small area, little small towns, and um, and then it led to us staying together, and me and my brother was really keeping it going, and it led to touring a little further out. We was older. My mother and father was managing us at the time.
Mhm.
We came to Austin. We played Austin Sixth Street. We pretty much grew up on Sixth Street of Austin
Mhm.
playing downtown, all on Sixth Street back in the early '90s, well, late '80s, early '90s,
Mhm.
and it just kept going. And then I went to LA and uh, I left. I ain't gonna say I left the group, but I just wanted to explore. Went to LA when I was 19, 18, 19, and my career as a performer, I started performing with different various acts up in LA, studying music there, and it just kind of keeps going and going and going and going and going. But yeah, initially the whole touring thing started with my mother and father getting us involved.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was the start. Yeah, it's
That's
pretty crazy.
pretty
It's a
cool.
long story.
Yeah.
You would not have yeah, you would not have enough time. If I go into detail, you'd be like, "What? You fell asleep back." But I mean, it's crazy. The journey is far and wide. And I don't even say it's a journey. It's more like an adventure.
Mhm.
So it was blessed, man, to learn some instruments and
Yeah.
stay out of jail
Yeah.
and
Amen.
get on stage.
So
You
being
know,
that you're part of a big family, your dad was in the military, correct?
my father early on, that was way before I was born.
Okay.
He was ex-military.
Okay.
He was stationed in Korea,
Okay.
and then he met my mom.
Hmm.
That was back in the '60s, so we
Okay.
going way back. But I mean, I wasn't around. I didn't come until '73.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah,
Um, so I know
pops was an ex-military. Yeah.
your childhood, you grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, and Texas. Can you just talk about, that growing up in Arizona and then growing up in Texas and that transition?
So Arizona, of course, I was born in Arizona, 1973. Um, I don't really remember a lot, even though I got a lot of cousins in Arizona. A lot of
Hmm.
my first cousins stayed there.
Hmm.
My mother and father, fortunately, they got the hell out of there. 'Cause
Hmm.
Arizona was it was the gangs, Crips and Blood. It was really big at the time. That whole gang bang, Crips and Blood was. And we lived on a street called the Vistas,
Hmm.
and that was like a whole blood neighborhood.
Oh wow.
Um, and my mother, yeah, it was real wild, because Phoenix was considered like little L.A. Phoenix is where
Oh.
the witness protection program, where you who were
Oh.
hiding and running from the law, or they're in the witness protection program.
Yeah.
They in Lula. I mean, they're in Phoenix.
Phoenix.
So if you see a big old brother, big old cocky brother walk past you in the grocery store with a wig on, he's in the witness. No, I'm playing with you. But I mean, but but for the most for the most part, we left. So I don't really remember. We left. So in '73, I was born. '79, we left. We came to Texas.
Hmm.
We came back to Texas. Long story short, my mom was from Texas. She was born in Texas, grew up in Texas.
Hmm.
But as a kid, when I was born, she had moved to Phoenix. Her and my father, when they met, we moved to Phoenix. They moved to Phoenix before I was born because they was, searching for better jobs at the
Hmm.
time. But after that, they decided to say, "Hey, let's I guess jobs wasn't what it was, so we came back to Texas, to the country out here in Luling. That was not actually in San Marcos.
Yeah,
That was in 1979.
okay.
That was in 1979. So my first memory at 3 years old, 4 years old, whatever, was San Marcos, Texas, and that was like the start. You know, that
Okay.
was the start. I didn't do music in Phoenix or nothing like that. And then I'm 4 years old. I'm here, and then a few years later, we moved to Victoria. Me and my brothers and sisters, my father, everybody, the whole family packed up, and moved to Victoria, Texas.
Hmm.
And that's what I tell you. It goes back to when we walked into the house and brought equipment to us and said, "Hey, you know, y'all gonna be the next Jackson Five." So that was in 1970, maybe 1980.
Okay.
You know, so we was already here in Texas. So I don't know much about Phoenix growing up.
I saw that. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
God, that's
but
such a hot place to be. I mean, Texas is too, but Arizona, I was like, oh wow. Um,
yeah,
so
hot
being
as hell.
that you
You
come
want?
from, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Being that
Nah, it's just not.
you come from a
Phoenix.
musical family, your dad plays the saxophone and he sings. Sometimes people want to take a different route. What was it about producing that grabbed your attention?
Um, I've always, as kids when we first started our band, me and my brothers always wrote. Tomar, A-Shack, Kareem, all of us. We always was writing songs. So I think producing, initially was I don't know. I guess when you felt like it was a part of you,
Mhm.
musically, coming from you. I mean, of course, people sample and they
Yeah.
remix stuff, and at the end of the day, you always felt like, damn, I wish I could have wrote that song. I wish I could have been the one that came up with that. So I think we were more intrigued with really creating our own little spot off in the light, or
Mhm.
light off in the spot, whatever. We was trying to, so I think that's what I fell in love with, was the fact that I could do something that I felt like was a part of
Yeah.
me. Even though we all bite, everybody bite,
Hmm.
and you can never really lay claim to anything.
Hmm.
There's only so many notes in the scale.
Yeah.
So, but the fact is you can twist it around, put this but you can say, well, it's mine. That's mine. Well, okay. I give it to you. But that that was probably one of the best, most intriguing part of writing is knowing that it came from a place that was, genuine, and it was you.
Mm.
So that's why I produce. I love it.
Yeah. And you're
I
great.
think I can.
Great
I
at
think I can.
it.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah, of
you.
course.
Thank you. Well, I I like, you know, I don't know. I guess for me, it's just more so. I don't know. I spend a lot of time alone in the studio.
Mhm.
I don't really, have people sitting around me like, hey, then check this out, check this. So it's a lot of times I don't know what that record is gonna be like until I shoot it out.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I just go with what I feel, and if I like it, if I,
Right, you
I'm gonna
rock.
leave it alone,
Right.
run with it.
So, just
Right
doing
on.
research
All right.
and learning about you and your love for string arrangement and orchestra arrangement, a particular German orchestra. Can you talk about your love for live instrumentation?
I mean, that was, like I said, that's the start. My father brought home instruments. We didn't have computers in them days. We didn't have drum machines and Logic and Pro Tools. Ain't nobody knew nothing about that.
Yeah.
Um, so instruments were like the live instrumentation, the wood, when you hold the guitar and, you actually get the actual wood and you play the drums and you hitting on that wood and the skins.
Mhm.
It's just, I mean, that's where everything came from. Everybody's sampling that. And all your drum sounds you hear today, from rap artists to, they just sampled something from a live instrument and they just kind of manipulated, put a little low end on it. Now you got 808, whatever.
Mhm.
But it's all initially started from an actual drum,
Mhm.
an actual acoustic drum.
Mhm.
How in Africa, we in Africa, we get
Yeah.
drums.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that was, that for us, that was like the thing. We didn't know any other way. We didn't know any other. Of course, they didn't have any other instruments out there.
Mhm.
Of course, when the '80s came, you had a lot more of the Madonna and
Mhm.
the Devo and the punk rock, that electronical sound. They had these little cool keyboards with the lights on it.
Mhm.
We were like, dang. So
Yeah.
we, of course, youngsters, we was coming up. We were young teenagers. So we invested into some different keyboards. It was more electronical. We like, what the hell? You feel me? And so then time changes. It just, and then next, you sit in the studio with a computer and a keyboard, and that's that. Now you have a studio.
Yeah.
But in those days, it wasn't like that. It was, everybody played. Everybody played. So, you know, live instrumentation was initially, that's the foundation of it all. That's where it
Mhm.
all comes from.
I feel like it's coming back a little bit
Yeah.
more live instrumentation, like
It is. It
really,
is. You hear it.
especially with like newer artists. So
Yeah.
it's really cool to see. And you brought up Africa too. You toured Africa as a piano player. Can you talk about that experience and what you learned from that experience?
I learned a lot in 1993. After I left Hollywood, I was caught up in those earthquakes in Hollywood and came back to Texas for a year.
Mhm.
And I was kind of a little depressed because I lost everything. I lost all my equipment. I lost everything in the earthquakes.
Okay.
And so I decided to. I mean, I met a young lady. I had to pick myself up and get back out on the road, play a little bit. So we were at a club in Austin one day,
Mhm.
and a young lady. I was performing at a club, and a young lady walked up to me. Her name is Denise Brooks, and she said, "Hey man, I like the way you play." Whoop, whoop. I was like, "Okay, appreciate it." She asked me, "Do you tour?" I said, I tour, but depending on where I'm going.
Mhm.
Africa, you know. And I was like, "What the heck?" She said, "Well," she said, "I need a piano player." And so I was like, "Well," cool. And so I was 19, 20 years old at the time. Well, no, 21 at the time.
Mhm.
And I said, "Well, you know what, man? I ain't got nothing else to lose. I
Mhm.
lost everything in California."
Yeah.
Shoot. So next a week later, I'm in Africa, and Africa really, we played at a hotel called Hotel Ivoire,
Mhm.
and we played in the entertainment side of. I mean, of course, they had a stage down there. It was really beautiful hotel, and it was packed every night, every twice a week when we played. It was super packed, and you met people that looked like you and us, you and I. You met people that was like could be your brother, like you like what you look just like my, but I'm telling you, identical. You like wow, it's like they could be your cousin. This is in West Africa, it was a mixture, that whole French culture, and it was a melting pot over in the Ivory Coast, in Cote d'Ivoire. So yeah, I played there, and I was there for a year, and
Mhm.
yeah, it just taught me musically. It taught me so much. There's so many talented people in Africa, and they make their own instrument,
Mhm.
and it was like, yeah, it was wild, man. It really humbled me,
Mhm.
and it's not so much so the music, but just the lifestyle humbled me.
Mhm.
When so when you come back to the States, and you can appreciate going into your house and turning on the lights if you
Yeah.
paid your light bill, but or you can drink, go into the refrigerator and get you some water,
Mhm.
or go in and take a shower.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just humble. It's a humbling experience. Africa was for me. Yeah,
That's
'cause
beautiful. Love
we were
that.
so fortunate here in the U.S.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
Nice.
just just be thankful for what you have here in the U.S. That's where I look at it. And fortunately, music was able to take me to Africa to where I can actually sit and talk with our beautiful people and be like, wow, and get a different experience.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So can you explain to me your love for Mozart? I read somewhere that you like Mozart. Can you explain to me your
No.
introduction to his music and how you came across Mozart?
Oh, you know what? I love it. I love classical. My thing,
Classical.
I'm not as educated on I'm not educated on all of the different, the different songs that Mozart produced or different, but my thing is like, I like, I like to listen to music when I go to bed. And the only thing is, I won't be able to sleep if I'm listening to like hip hop or R&B because I study. I like to study, and
Mhm.
I'm always like listening. So I find myself laying in the bed up, not being able to sleep because so I have to turn it off. And the only music that I can really actually listen at the time I could listen to without actually just trying to study it
Mhm.
was classical. So when I would go to bed at night, I would turn on my classical compositions and I would just listen to whoever Bach, whoever whatever was on my playlist, and I would just listen and I would yeah, I would fall asleep to it, and but I can, what I'm saying, without me, I'm not,
Yeah.
you listen to the orchestration and stuff, but um so classical, that's why I fell in love with classical. That to me it was almost like when you've been in the studio all day doing hip hop all day and boom, 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 and beats and everybody rap move, and then you walk out of the studio and you go home and you turn on some classical. It's just like, man, it just decompress.
Yeah.
You just decompress, and it's
Relax.
like whoa,
Yeah.
and so it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's just a contrast of it. Yeah, so
That's pretty
that's why
cool.
I like
Nice. I
classical.
love that. So now one of the
Yeah.
first songs that you produced was Purple Swag by MC Big Mo, and the instrumentation for the beat is amazing. You end up producing 9 tracks from the Purple World album. Can you talk about that experience with producing that album?
Purple World was that was the second album I produced. Well,
Oh.
I mean, but that was the first album, of course, was the
Mhm.
City of Sir, with the Bar Baby and all that stuff on there. But Purple World was City Purple Stuff, the song I produced. So it was working with Big Mo and Rec Shop, the whole Rec Shop clique back in 2000 and maybe right in 2000. Uh, that was during the time Houston was really, the underground market was really booming. You know, we didn't have Facebook or Instagram or
Mhm.
TikTok.
Yeah.
We didn't have, what we had was we had some people with had talent. We
Yeah.
had some people who love to get out and shake hands and say, hey man, check out this. I got my CD. You know what I'm saying? The whole underground we call it hand to hand combat.
Yeah.
We was out there, and meeting people. Like today, we really don't meet people.
Yeah.
We DM you.
Yeah.
You know, but back in those days, I think I learned so much doing that process of making those records with Big Mo because it was during a time when, you really get a chance to meet and learn the rapper or the artist you was dealing with,
Yeah.
and and it was just so authentic. It's a little different today. I don't want to hate on the way it is today, but it was, we make records different today,
Yeah.
than how we did 20 years, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So the whole Purple World album, City of Syrup, Big Mo, and all that. Not only the experience of making records and producing, but I think it was just the chemistry,
Mhm.
and the way everybody was,
Yeah.
it was different. It was different how we did it.
More like
But
organic.
that was I was yeah, it was real organic. It wasn't like you know today. I mean, I guess today, people can sit at their house and never meet an artist and
Mhm.
produce their whole album,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're like, ah, damn.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
So it,
That's how it is. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So today, it's like you can sit at your house and just sending stuff through the emails, and
Mhm.
back then you could do it, but back, we had dial up.
Mhm.
Ain't nobody trying to wait that long till your computer connect. It's
A little harder.
just like, what the hell? So I might as well just drive. I just might as well drive to you and just sit down with you,
Yeah.
and we're gonna do this record.
Yeah.
That's something that taught me with City of Syrup, the whole process of it. But some good artists on that too. Big Mo, yeah, good stuff.
So
Yeah.
now you produced the legendary song "Still Trippin'" featuring Mike Jones, Slim Thug, and Paul Wall. You stated that "Still Trippin' beat wanted to serve as a tribute to DJ Screw. Can you talk about making the beat, and did you expect the beat to be a legendary song as big as it is today?
I never did. So Still Tippin was a record that I did for. I had an artist back in the late '90s, '99. Well, I ain't gonna say '99. Well, it was probably '99, close to '99. His name was Swift, and Swift was one of my rappers that I was trying to produce and trying to get him out. And we would do. I would make show CDs, and he would go out and do his shows. You know how you ever do their show CDs and the explosion, boom. You come out, hey, go to the next track. You know what I'm saying? So, Still Tipping was the show opener for him. That was in 1999, 2000. That was a show opener. It wasn't an actual beat that I was to anybody. And so technically my homeboy, one of my ex artists, Swift was the first one to actually rap on the beat, Still Tipping. And so fast forward, years later, I was, 2003, 2004. I was actually, I had already had dipped into dealing with certain artists and stuff in the Houston market. Paul Wall, Mike Jones, and Swisher House. Actually, T. Ferris, he called me one day. T. Ferris is Megan Thee Stallion's manager. I don't know if you ever look him up. His name is T. Ferris. So T. Ferris called me. He was like, "Bro, because he was the manager of Mike Jones and Paul Wall, and he was managing. He was actually, getting records done. He was picking records and stuff. He called me one day and he was like, "Hey, bro," he's like, "Man, I'm gonna shoot you these vocals, man, cause so, and I want to see what you can come up with on the beat." He said the vocals come from another song, cause Still Tipping was another song. It was pre-recorded to a whole different beat before I even did it, and it was a producer. His name is Big Timer, and he produced it. But it was more like a boom, 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 boom. It was like a hustle type beat. It was dope.
Mhm.
And my and Paul and Slim Thug was like tipping on fofos, rough. It was a lot faster, And they wanted to change it up, And this record, so they sent me the vocals. He gave me the vocals. T Ferris gave me the vocals, and he said, "Let me send you the beat." I said, "No, don't send me the original. I don't want to hear the beat because I don't want to get caught up into that beat. I want to go 2003. I'm just going. I had these acapellas that they sent me, and I hear still tipping on for. So I said, well, you know what? Let me find. So I started searching through my beats and crates and stuff, different beats, and it matched up perfect with that beat.
Mhm.
And I just put the vocals on that beat, and I kind of tweaked it a little bit,
Mhm.
and that was it. And it was like a match made in heaven. And I said, man, I think I got something that fit that.
Mhm.
And so me and T Ferris, because I live in Luling out here in the country. Well,
Mhm.
I'm out in the country,
Yeah.
and so T Ferris, so right not far from where I live, not far from where I live right now. You got the highways I-10,
Mhm.
which take you directly to Houston.
Mhm.
So T Ferris wouldn't drive. He wouldn't drive this far out. He would. We would meet up on the side, like in Weimar, Texas. We would meet up out in the country, like at a gas station, and we would meet up and we would give tracks. He would give me tracks. I was showing what I did. So I get in his car and we listen to it. So when I met up with him, cool man, I'm gonna roll out. I'm gonna roll out, bro. I'm gonna come. We're gonna meet up and I'm gonna get it from you. And so we met up in a little small town outside of Weimar, Texas,
Mhm.
and at a little gas station. And I gave him the CD that I came up with, and I think back then was on there too, and sitting sideways, all them beats. And and he was sitting in the car, he played it, he was like, man, all right, shit, all right, yeah, man, this might work. This might, you know what I'm saying? This might do something, and I think when he took it back, Mike Jones and Paul Wall, they had an instrumental, but I think they rewrote their verses or whatever. But I had Slim Thug's vocals on that.
Mhm.
And then Mike Jones and Paul Wall later came and got on it. It's been so long ago, Portia. It's been it's been so long. I can't
I
really
know.
remember how it all came together, but it's
I love it.
crazy.
I love it. I
I
love
might be
it.
lying like a
Like,
a
I can let it
lie.
happen. Yeah.
Oh, damn that.
It's okay. Listen, I
Mike
love it.
Jones, Paul be sitting up there looking at. Yeah, I just said Mike and Paul probably be looking at man, this boy. But no, it was close. It happened somewhat like that, But it was from my election of it. It was more of a yeah. I would hand off beats
Mhm.
and still Tippin was there, and I think that beat was going. It came out on. They held broke loose. It was a mix CD. It came out on.
Okay.
So that song in 2004 came out before it even did anything.
Mhm.
And as a producer, we just kind of like we do a beat and we just go on about our business, and pray to God that we hear it on the radio one day.
And look
I
at
was already on something else. I was on something else. Charlie. Yeah, I was on to the next job, working with Charlie Boy.
us.
Everybody. I was just trying to get it. I was trying to make me some hits, and then and yeah, a year later, I heard it. I heard it. I was looking at BET and it popped on,
Mhm.
and I had no idea that it was on the countdown. And yeah, and the rest was still tipping. Has been doing really well. It's still tipping,
It is.
and it's doing its thing.
Mhm. So we have
Everybody's been sampling it, and
everyone does sample it. Oh my gosh, everyone.
uh,
Movies and everything.
yeah,
Yeah. So we have
yeah,
8 minutes.
yeah.
I have
Lotto just
and Lotto. I'm sorry.
Lotto sampled the "There She Go." That
Oh,
was my beat. That was back then. Back then, didn't want me. Now I'm hot. Yeah, she sampled that. So when you listen to that record, yeah. So I get paid from all those, but man, every time they sample it, I get paid. But
Mhm.
it's super dope to just hear your songs being recreated today with the younger generation today. It's cool, pretty dope.
Um, we have around like 7 more minutes. I have three more questions. Um,
Okay.
got three more questions. So now you created classics, beats with Paul Wall, Mike Jones after Still Tippin', and you stated that you fell out of love with making rap beats. You said that we're hit makers, we don't chase after old hits. Can you elaborate on that statement?
You know, there's a difference between hit makers and hit chasers.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
um, of course, like I said, we all music is recyclable. But I think when you just straight up start just you know freaking jacking people's songs and stuff.
Mhm.
I just don't like the way I didn't like at the time. I ain't gonna say I fell out of I ain't gonna say fell out of love. I guess you could say I fell out of love with the whole way everything was being done because it became like a cookie cutter thing
Mhm.
to where everybody started sounding alike.
Mhm.
Not saying it wasn't tight, everybody was jamming. It's just sometimes you start hearing the same cadence, hear
Mhm.
the same beat, the same patterns. And I think I just bagged away because I felt like, well, yeah, it's a fad now. Everybody doing the same thing. It's like I think back in those days, it was important to have your own sound. Like, you
Yeah.
can learn from everybody's sound. Like, man, that's that Houston sound. Oh, that's that New York sound.
Mhm.
That's that West Coast sound. That's Midwest, man. And everybody had their story to tell. And if you want to play bang some West Coast stuff, you bang, and you can now I'm in the West Coast now. You know what I'm saying? I'm in Cali now and I'm learning what's popping up here
Yeah.
by way of listening to the sound, so nowadays, everything kind of started sounding alike.
I agree.
With not saying everybody, but the stuff that's hitting, the stuff that really crosses over and do what it does. But you still have a lot of underground artists who keep it real true to the art, and so that's one reason why I think I kind of fell back a little bit.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah,
understandable.
but it's coming back around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of music, you also sing, especially blues music. You're a countryman. You have a garden. You go fishing. What drew you to sing specifically blues music?
What I like to say,
Huh?
boy. I mean, or just what I light and hot. You said what again? You said what do I like to? What
What
did you
drew you
say
to
again?
sing?
What do I like to do as far as blues?
Yeah, what drew you to sing blues music?
Oh man, uh, I was going through a lot in my life. Really, I was going through a lot. I was going through a 17-year divorce, and I just didn't feel like singing nothing happy.
Mhm.
I always loved blues. Lightning Hopkins. So yeah, that was during the time where I said, well, now I pulled my guitar out and
Mhm.
I really started doing more. Yeah, I was just, what I was going through at the time. I didn't feel like being joyful. Yeah, yeah. You're going through someone, you lose, after 17 years of being married, it's, yeah, it was one of those things where I was venting. I had to get it out of me, and so if you listen to some of the Dirty Water stuff, that came from a real place, for real. That wasn't no me trying to put it on and pretend like I'm this blues singer now. But gardening, all that. I here on 60 acres of land. I got goats and
Yeah.
garden, and I built my own home
Mhm.
with my hands. So I do carpentry.
Oh,
you know. So pretty cool, you know.
okay.
So, but it's all. Go
Last
ahead.
question. Last question. And then we're going to get into explain the lyric. We got 3 minutes. So you're a very chill guy. I remember your niece saying that you don't go out much. I think your first time seeing her perform was at Terrence Leon's event. And you chose not to put yourself out in the public as much as
Yeah. Wow.
you
Yeah.
had. Why is that? Why you decide to be very just to yourself and just kind of like ducked off?
I feel like every time when you share yourself with someone, that's exactly what you do. You share yourself. And
Mhm.
at the time, I think for me, I leave that up to the artist, the
Mhm.
singer, the rapper,
Mhm.
the actor, the actress.
Mhm.
I think their job is to get on that screen and do what they do, or get on that microphone, and they become an artist and they sing, and it's for them to put themselves out there and be seen
Mhm.
and be heard, and that's their job. I just I don't feel like that was the job as a producer. I think a producer is someone who can push better than he can lead and get out there and say, "Hey, look at me."
Yeah.
I do better at standing behind you and pushing you and say, "I think you can do it." I hear that. And if you want to give me the accolades and say, "Hey, that guy, he's the one that produced," that's cool, but it's not a necessity for me.
Yeah.
So some producers want the light. I don't know. I'm cool with not having the light like that. It keeps me sneaking up on them. When you're in the light, you can't sneak up on them. It's too bright. So
Okay. So I love
I'll
real
be in
quick.
the shadows.
We have 1 minute and 50 seconds. I love your song "Dirty Water," and I just want to go over one lyric with you. And even if the grass is brown, still gotta hold down, still gotta hold you down. Gotta keep it. Gotta keep
Yeah,
moving on, Rolling
keep
Stone.
moving on.
Yes. Oh, can you explain that lyric? I'm sorry. I'm
And be
sorry.
a Rolling Stone. Well, hey, even if the grass is brown, meaning like, hey, you gotta still water. You gotta hold it down, even if the grass is brown. Meaning like
Mhm.
you gotta keep watering it. Your
Mhm.
relationships, whatever, friendships, whatever, and you can't just keep moving on. You just can't keep rolling and rolling. Trying to find like a Rolling Stone.
Mhm.
You can't just keep
Keep
rolling
dropping some
around
next net.
trying
Oh!
to search for stuff that's
Yeah.
really. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you gotta hold it down. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Even if the grass is brown, you water it. You
Okay.
water it. That's all that. That's what that meant. Just
And I
you
love
know,
the she walked
put
on
something into
Sunday,
you.
the
Your
lover on
your.
Monday, searching for that TV type of love. That was a bar. Real quick, anything that you I'm sorry, we've
Right.
got like a couple seconds. Anything you have coming up that you like to share? Because we've got less than 1 minute.
Just you know, I mean, just I'm writing. I'm actually back in the studio doing records,
Okay.
producing beats and stuff. So I can't really speak on it now, but yeah, that'll
Okay.
be just keep me in your sight. If you can Google my name or whatever, or
Yes.
Google it'll pop up. But other than that, I'm back at work.
Yes.
I'm in the
Yes.
dark right now, but I will pop back out. Yeah.
Check it out, check it out, check it out, check it.